Hi there. My name's Mykal Hart. I'm a hypnotherapist and a self-realization coach, which means that I assist people in helping them work through their fears, through your confusion, so that you can find clarity in your life and its purpose on your next step. And ultimately what that means is it brings joy to your life. And that's really the whole purpose here is I want to be able to help others, assist others in finding the joy within their life. I have certainly had my own journey of struggle through challenging times where, we all have different struggles, whether it's in our career, whether it's in our family, whether it is in our own inner self and knowing who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. And love, right? That's kind of actually part of knowing yourself is loving and accepting yourself. But then there's also the external love when you work with others, when you're interacting with others. So I'm here to share my story, I guess. I have certainly been getting taps on my shoulder to the point where now it feels like there's a hand pushing me in the back of my shoulder blades. I am very strongly guided by my spiritual team, and how this evolves within this video channel through this one or the future ones that I do, it's going to reveal itself. But I think the biggest message I have here today is about sharing my story of my own struggles so that others don't feel alone, because we all are struggling. It's about learning the tools that you can utilize to bring ease into your life as well as clarity. And when you have clarity and when you have knowingness, it's much easier to make the next step into the unknown, because change, and that's what that is what so many of us need in our life, is the change to create what we really want in life instead of staying stuck in the past or in a situation that no longer serves us. So today I am called in my own spiritual team member of Quan. Quan is very compassionate, very loving, and she's certainly shown her compassion to me, expressed her love to me, but it's not just for me. Quan wants to assist anyone who asks for her assistance. And in fact, your whole spiritual team, if that you ask for their assistance, they would love to help you. I guess in our individual roles, it's about finding confidence in the knowingness that when we ask, we're going to receive, or at least receive an answer. And I have went through that journey myself of talking to the team that you can't see, right? And some can, which is brilliant. But I have never really been able to see. If anything, I'm more of a feeler. I can feel the energy around me. But some can see, which is awesome. However you do it, though, we're all unique and we all have different ways. So this video is about the journey, about finding ourselves. And I wanted to just share a card. I'm going to draw a card inspired by Quan and a message that she wants to share. All right. So I have quite a few oracle decks here that I pulled around me before I sat down. And let's see which one. Oh, she likes the crystal spirits. Okay. This is actually a fairly new oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed, the crystal spirits. And I actually haven't used this one very much, so this is going to be interesting. But I do love crystals. I don't know, do any of you utilize crystals and work with them? I have been doing it more and more. The more I got into my journey, the more they're calling me to work with them. And I actually have quite a collection going now. So I'm just going to ask for a card for Quan to show us. Maybe we'll pull 3. What do you think? Should we do 3? Let's make room on my... Whoa, almost spilled my tea. That would have been a surprise. appreciate not having to spill it and clean that up, Quan Yin. Thank you. All right, so let's pick out or have Quan Yin show us 3 cards for our session today. 3 cards about a message to you, an inspirational message to you. What 3 cards would Quan Yin want to show to us today? I should have had her deck. I left it in my office, and I'm doing this in my home office. So I have a beautiful Quan Yin deck that I absolutely adore that is sitting in my office. And this is kind of just a ad hoc thing I thought I'd do in the last few minutes that I had before I have to run off to the next appointment. Like I said, they've really been wanting me to do this more and more. So I literally just sat down and said, okay, well, what do you want to say, Quan Yin? So the first message is Jade. And I'm not familiar with this deck, so I'm not sure what Jade is going to represent, but that's beautiful. Euclase. And I pronounce words wrong, so if I am butchering that name, my apologies. And clear quartz. Clear quartz is amazing because it works in so many different situations. So Jade, Euclase, which honestly I don't think I've ever even heard of, and clear quartz. So Jade, 27. It's a good number. It rounds up to a 9 for numerology. Jade. Treasures within, a consciousness of abundance, recognizing that you are more than enough. Oh, I like that. That's a good start, isn't it? That is a good start. And I'm going to get emotional. I can really feel that she's very pleased with that card and revealing that to us. Even the smallest crystal has the power to transmit energy. Channeling information from the conscious universe. Electronic equipment contains crystals so small that you might not realize they are there. So too, you too have the hidden strengths you may be overlooking. Treasures within that can give you strength and courage as you break free of the past and venture into the unknown. Oh, so this treasure represents that you are enough and that you have enough, and really hear that you are enough. Sometimes we get lost in the pain that we're struggling with, the confusion, and the lack of clarity. Like, we know all these different things, but we just don't know which direction to go in. And it can just feel so overwhelming. So to realize that you have enough and that you are enough. And I had heard on this, and this is something I truly believe because I've experienced it, is that even though you may not know or understand what your next step is, your higher self does. It knows the answer. It knows the solution. It has figured out a path for you to get to where you really want to be. So at this point, it's just about you opening up and clearing the channel, so to speak, to receive the information. They are sharing the information with you, but maybe you're just not able to hear it because of all the clutter that's going on in your head, right? If there's so much chatter going on in your head, if there's so much confusion, turmoil swelling up within you, it's really hard to focus in on the one message that is the appropriate message for you to find and move into the solution that is already there. But I do want to assure you, it is there. It truly is there. So I love that card because you are enough and you have enough right there within you. The Jade Spirit, this beautiful card, has arrived to tell you to not underestimate yourself. That's beautiful, isn't it? That you can figure this out. And if you're looking for help, there's lots of help. You know, one of the biggest things about getting through stress is building resiliency. And it's been determined that one of the greatest things that builds resiliency is your community around you, about who you can talk to, about taking care of yourself. That's so important in that time frame when you are suffering, when you're feeling down, to have people that you can confide in. So do you have people that you can confide in, that you can talk to with an open and authentic heart? Because there's the key. We tend to build all these shells around us, these filters that we're speaking through, but then that's creating a shell around us because we don't want people to necessarily see us for who we truly are. And so we're always a little afraid to say our full authentic truth. Again, so been there. And I'm still learning. I mean, this is not you learn it and it's over. And it can be, but this is like learn one thing, peel a layer off the onion, move into the next thing, learn that. And you have a lot of opportunity to practice that muscle of being authentic. And it's not something that can come as easily for some as it does for others. And I'll share my own story of being, have in the past. I try to be really open and authentic now, but I certainly have created my own shells around me, and everyone would think I'd be the life of the party, but I'm not necessarily was revealing my true authentic self at that time. I was playing a great role, and it was a fun role, but it wasn't necessarily my authentic self. To reveal my authentic self means that I have to speak my truth, the truth that can be really challenging for me to say out loud. Oh my God, it's so hard to say the truth that we feel inside out loud because there's this great fear of judging myself for having said that, the judgment of others because of what I said. And I'm making a great assumption when I'm judging what I think other people think they want to hear, and saying what I think they want to hear, but also judging what I say authentically. And so it is been a very powerful journey to be able to step in and start being my authentic self, speaking the things that I believe in, and not fearing the consequence as much. And that has been a journey of years. All right. It's been one little thing at a time. The first part was just learning to say one truth that I knew was not necessarily globally recognized and or accepted, but to say that truth out loud and reveal that part of me. And boy, that first time, and we're talking when I'm in my 30s. I think it was my late 30s when I really spoke up my true spiritual truth. And it was such a small little thing. It was such a small little detail that when I look back and I'm like, what was the big deal? But at that time, it was huge. And it was it felt traumatic to go through. It didn't have to be traumatic. If I would just step into it and do it, it didn't have to be, but it's just a matter of doing it once and recognizing that you lived through it. I did it. You can do it too. That has been, it was a great lesson for me. It was a great lesson that I'm not going to, die or even be judged like I thought I was going to be judged. Like when I said that truth, I really thought that they would put me away in the loony bin, or at least give me a really strange, who are you and what'd you do with Mykal kind of look. And I didn't. This guy was just like, wow, really? Tell me more. That was the last thing I expected. Wow, tell me more. So stepping into your authentic truth can be challenging, but it's recognize that sometimes, the majority of the time, it's our own inner limitations that are holding us back. And in our head, we tend to think that it's outer limitations, but it's really our own inner limitations that's holding us back. Big, big lesson in that. So Jade is saying that you have the ability and that you can do this. I love that. What else does Jade have to say? I love this. There's a prosperity message in each of her cards. And this is, you have more affluence than you imagine, and opening your eyes to the creative ways in which the conscious universe has manifested abundance in material form reveals wonderful possibilities for your life. So look at that, prosperity. God, the more you can step into the truth, the more you can get that energy flowing in a very conducive way. Bring it on. We got prosperity coming. And I love that. I'm a great manifester. I keep thinking I need to do a workshop about manifesting, because manifesting, I think, has kind of gotten misunderstood. And it's not that tough if you can be clear. If you can be clear and allow that energy to flow, you've got it made. All right, let's check out this Mykal, because I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it before, but there it is. Let's check it out. 23. 23. 23, that's a 5. Ooh, 5 energy is all about change. Wisdom from within, inner truth, aligning with divine intelligence, trusting your own earned wisdom. These Quan's hitting it on the head here, right? We have the jade, which is you've got it within you. You have more within you than you think you do, and you can do it. And now this is speaking about that wisdom that we have within ourselves, the wisdom from within, the inner truth, aligning with divine intelligence, and trusting your own earned wisdom. Do you guys trust your wisdom? Do you trust that the information that you're getting is valuable, and that if you follow it, if you receive it, if you acknowledge it and apply it into your life, that it would actually make a difference in your life? Do you? Do you receive the information and then get into an argument in your head about it? I do that all the time. I can't tell you how many times that I'm in I get this inspiration. Turn right, go over here. I'm like, I don't want to go right. I was going left. I have this to do and this to do, this to do. That's not in the cards to go right. And they're like, just go right. And I go, no, that's not what I was here to. My mission, my thought process, my to-do list says I go left. And I started recognizing one day that I have these arguments in my head. And every time I win the argument, I'm like, see, I went left and I knew I wanted to go left. I kind of regret it, because then I find out that if I'd only gone right, something magical would have, and possibly have happened that would have kept me out of the trouble that I got into by going left. And so I really started assessing my own inner dialogue within my head. And if I find myself arguing with myself too much, I'm like, why am I arguing? Why aren't I just following the intuition and the guidance and going with it? Boy, that's been a hard, hard lesson. Oh, see, when you are distracted by all the noise and the stimulation that's part of our lives now, it can be hard to trust that you have what it takes to make wise choices, right? That's exactly what I was just saying. So the appearance of the Mykal is a sign that valuable insights can be found through tapping into your intuitive intelligence. Oh, yeah. Let's learn how to do that. Let's, pay attention to what's going on in your own internal dialogue and assess that. It's the only way. And, I was saying, as a self-realization coach, do you guys know what self-realization means? It's a big, hot topic and term right now, but do you know what it means? It means that you are looking inside yourself and realizing yourself. So it's about looking into yourself and assessing, if you have an emotional trigger, if you've just been set off by somebody did something and you're like, I can't believe they did that. And that's just absolutely the worst thing that they could have ever done. My invitation to you would be to look internally about the emotional response. And that's actually what I deal with a lot of people, is would go into a session utilizing hypnosis as well as coaching skills to really talk through and discover through the subconscious and your higher self, what is the thing, that emotional trigger that is creating that. Because the reality is that a trigger is coming from a past emotional trauma. Guaranteed. I mean, I do this every day. Every trigger is from an past emotional trauma. And when you go back and you witness that trauma and release it, and witnessing is just about observing it. You don't have to suffer through this. It's emotionally draining as the event itself. It just wants to be recognized. And once it goes, oh, they finally saw me, it can be released through proper techniques, and you won't be triggered anymore. That same person can do the exact same thing again, and you'll go, silly them. You don't even, it doesn't even register on your radar anymore. It doesn't have to trigger you. You don't have to live in this emotional up and down and all around emotions that you are carried away with. Instead, when you start self-realizing what's going on inside you and why it's going on and healing the past, then you start living in the now, and then you start manifesting the future in a manner that really creates some positive outcomes for yourself. Yes, it can be done. I love it, love it, love it. All right, so I love Mykal because that's about bringing that wisdom within. And since I read the other prosperity. So this one is lessons of the past can guide the future, improve track records have value when it comes to building wealth and maintaining prosperity. Spirit is here to remind you to listen to your inner wisdom when considering where you invest your energy and attention. That's the part I feel. If it feels wrong for you, it probably is. If an opportunity for generating wealth makes you nervous, explore that feeling. The truth is that until you let go of the old beliefs about how you can't be trusted to co-create what you need, and that prosperity is for others but not for you, you will feel uncomfortable when good opportunities and resources show up. Ooh. And that's about what I was talking about. When you clear these old beliefs, and those old beliefs are coming from your old past emotional trauma, that's exactly, it's so interconnected. When you clear those up, then you are creating a clear channel to receive the information for the insights to guide you to your prosperity, health, wealth, joy, whatever it is that you want to bring into your life. Love it. All right, so clear quartz is the third one. So pretty good. I'm liking it. So clear quartz, 18 is the number on this, which is the 9. 9 again, interesting. So jade was a 9 number, and 9 is the end of completion. Mykal was a 5, about change, and clear quartz is another 9. So I'm digging it. 19, 18, excuse me. So clear quartz, amplification, magnification, expansion, and growth. Wow, do you guys get this? I mean, I love the message that she's giving us today. This is pretty phenomenal. So, because it's all about knowing ourselves. And when you know yourself, you can step into and manifest as the creator that you are, the life that you want. But you've got to go internally. You've got to do the self-realization work. This is the time to be doing it. And there are a lot of people out there right now that's dealing with stress, with just a lot of internal struggle. You know, a lot of, like I was saying earlier, confusion. The thing I hear most is how overwhelmed people are, how confused internally that they can become about how stuck they are feeling, and just wanting to understand how to find relief for themselves with all of that going on. I mean, that's a lot to go on, and it doesn't have to be like that. Wouldn't you love to live a life that was a little level, calm, peaceful, and yet joyful? It can be so joyful and fun when you're manifesting things that bring you joy. And let me tell, I have to share this story. So I have a girlfriend who a year ago had played a little game that I love, which wouldn't it be cool if? And I love the wouldn't it be cool if statement because it's a very strong manifestation tool. When you do the wouldn't it be cool if, it's not I have to have something, I really want something. Is wouldn't it be cool though if that happened? And she had said to me, she said, wouldn't it be cool if we could go to Paris next year and spend a week in discovering the city? Neither one of us have ever been there. Both of us have studied French, from when we were really, really young, because it was that language we were drawn to. And when I see that happen with clients, I would say, and I would say it to myself too, is that there's a connection there to a past life. Like if you're drawn to a language that's not necessarily the most common language, like English and Spanish tend to be really, really common, right? But when you're drawn to a language when you are young, and I was drawn probably when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. Not that I ever got a chance to learn it because they weren't teaching it where I grew up. But that was the language I wanted to learn. When you're drawn to that language, though, that just means that there's some kind of connection, that you've experienced it before. At least that's been my experience. So knowing that, both of us having that we've probably both had past lives within France, she's like, wouldn't it be cool if we could go to Paris for a week and go to some cooking classes and just, have great wine, just have an amazing trip. And I completely agreed with her. I was like, yeah, that would be so, so much fun. But in my reality, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not quite sure how I would find the time to get away. It's not cheap going, you're going, I'm in North Carolina, so it's it's really not that far, right? These are the arguments that were going on in my head, though. That's the argument. And to this day, right? So it's really not that far. Anyway, so she had played this game and I had completely bought into it. I loved it, but I really didn't think it was going to work out. I didn't poo-poo her, her wouldn't it be cool statement though, because I was really into it. But never did anything about following up or looking into anything. And come around 9 months later, one of my very favorite people who do a lot of channeling and guided meditations was having an event in Glastonbury, UK. And I was like, I really, really want to do this. This is really important for me. And so having talked to my husband, who is so supportive, he's like, absolutely, absolutely go. I was like, you know what? I am going to do it. I am going to go to Glastonbury. I'm going to have a great time. I'm so excited about this weekend retreat. It's like 5 days, I think. This retreat and get out of the normal routine and go to England because I've never been to England. I've never been out of North America. I've been, all around North America, but nothing past that. And so I was like, I am. I am. And I jumped into this and started making the arrangements. And as I made the arrangements, then I was like, oh, you know what? My husband could come over for a few days because, right, the lodging's taken care of. So it's just a travel ticket or an airline ticket. And it would be nice to spend a few days with him. And then he was like, well, yeah, no, I have these other commitments that I have to do, so I'm not going to be able to join you this time. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine, because I can have fun no matter what. If he's there, it's great. If he's not there, I can still have fun. But it just got me thinking, and I was like, oh, I should invite my friend over. And when I Googled it, going from Glastonbury or from London to Paris, 2.5, 3 hours. I was like, we can go to Paris. And yes, let's go for a full week. I'm already over there. Of course, she drops everything. I am planning up a storm. I've got airline tickets. I got my car. I'm getting the Airbnbs in Paris and Glastonbury. And, well, who doesn't want to go to Scotland too if we're already in town, in the country? Oh, I can always extend, a nice little 4-day weekend retreat into a 3-week grand tour of England, Scotland, and France. My poor, wonderful, loving, supportive husband who's like, I thought you would just be gone for like 5 days. How funny is that? Anyway, so yes. Wouldn't it be cool if works and we're going to Paris, we're going to go to England, we're going to go to Scotland and spend some amazing times. So really looking forward to that. And I just want to share that story that we tend to tell ourselves that we can't do something. And sometimes you just have to dive in and go, you know what, this is something that's really important to me. And it can work out amazingly. It can work out, and it does. So that's pretty cool. I love what Quan has shared with us today. And I know this has been kind of just a rambling video. But so you'll have to forgive me. I'm new to this. I'm still trying to figure out a format to share my stories, because I really do think it's important to be authentic at this time so that people can see how you walk through this time of change and how you can become clear, you can heal the past and just be in the now, so that you can create your future, your beautiful, abundant, joyful future. And that is my goal, is to assist those as much as possible. And I have always been able to be inspired by other people's stories, and I am certainly being guided to share my stories. So if this resonates with you, that's amazing. And if it doesn't, just click off and you don't have to come back. But if it's something that you enjoy, please share. And I look forward to some more talks in the future as we learn about one another and as we all walk on this journey through discovering ourselves, through the self-realization process and the ascension process, right? So many blessings. Namaste.